Well, howdy there, friends, and welcome to another episode of the MemoryCherish podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Laura Whitman.
And I'm Mark, just your good old neighbour and co-host, marathon talker, life observer, humour lover, fan of a good picnic.
Exactly. Now, it sounds like a pretty dandy afternoon plan, Mark, but before we dive right into the back porch chats, let me remind you all.
That's right, Laura. More than just bringing those old memories back to life, it's about cherishing each and every one that's been a part of our journeys, ain't it?
You couldn't have said it better, Mark. And that's why today we are diving into the fascinating world of vintage postcards. These small pieces of paper hold so much more than meets the eye. They are tangible pieces of history, snapshots of the past.
Absolutely. You know, Laura, back when I was a young'un, we didn't have emails or them fast and fancy interweb messages. For us, postcards were a big deal. Miniature works of art. That's what they were.
That's a sweet image you just painted there, Mark. And it isn't just art, but culture and history, too. Postcards captured the essence of different periods, societies, and artistic movements.
And landmarks, Laura. I have somewhere tucked away deep in a dusty drawer a postcard that showed the old Johnson's Mill right before they tore it down to build the mall. Sounded like progress, but feels okay. We kept a window to the past, doesn't it?
Just a small piece of your personal history to cherish. Now, if you're all out there wondering how you can start your own postcard collection...
And join all the postcard enthusiasts around the world, right?
Exactly, Mark. Building your postcard collection can be quite the journey, and it all starts by defining your interest, like how you focus on local landmarks, Mark.
Sure do, Laura. Those hold a pretty darn special place in my heart. But say, what if someone's interest lies in, I don't know, holiday decorations or fashion trends?
Oh, that's the beauty of postcard collection, Mark. It can be as diversified as one wants it to be. From festive cards to fashion-centric ones, it all holds great historical and personal value.
Well, it sure does, Laura. And talking about value, it's about what's a pretty penny? Or, I mean, how do we figure the worth of these vintage postcards?
That's a riveting question, Mark. The value is often based upon factors like its age, condition, rarity, and how much intrigue the content generates. Often cards from the golden age of postcards, say around 1907 to 1915, marathon robust.
You know, Laura, Christmas was always a big deal in my house, and I remember we used to send Christmas postcards to all our relatives.
You see right there, Mark. Those Christmas postcards you chuckled about, well, they're amongst the most sought-after ones in the lens of collectors.
Well, ain't that a fun fact? Now, once somebody gets hold of a treasure trove of these vintage postcards, Laura, there's got to be a way to keep 'em good as new, right? With them being as old they are.
Most certainly, Mark. One needs to handle vintage postcards like historical artifacts, with the utmost care. Storing them in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight is very important. Not forgetting the occasional cleaning. But remember to use just a soft cloth.
So keep 'em off the beaten path. Check, you know, Laura. Some of my sisters called my postcard collecting hocus pocus, even bull raw at times.
A postcard collection can indeed induce such reactions, Mark. But beyond being simply pretty or sentimental even, these postcards have a unique blend of history or art, culture. Personally, I find it all fascinating.
And it's one way for us to hold on in today's fast-changing world, isn't it, Laura? To keep these windows on the past wide open so we can peer right through.
A charming picture, Mark. Delving into the fabric of yesteryear, understanding from whence we came. There's a certain beauty in reminiscence, isn't there?
On that I say, hear, hear. Well, that brings us right back to our start, we being the MemoryCherish podcast and all.
There's our beautiful circle. So, listeners, whether you're clinging onto that postcard from your first love or scouting for a century-old one that catches your fancy, cherish the journey. It's the stories that matter. Truly.
Ain't that the truth? Well, listeners, join us on this trip down memory lane, chugging right past yonder with us here at MemoryCherish.
Thank you once again, folks, for joining us here today. Next time we will return with more story, more remembrance, more shared moments. So until then, keep caring, keep sharing, and most of all, keep cherishing.